Nah, they ain't do that though. Cause you let look better. I just thought about this and me and a few of my partners was talking about it. And I knew Highboy Jimmie. Highboy Jimmie was him and Dodo was real close. And Jimmie used to do a lot of looking out. Like Jimmie, I consider Jimmie one of my OGs. Jimmie and Bruce out of Cali. Jimmie, Bruce, Slam, uh, Big Roddy, um, Lil Nut. There's a few people who I consider OGs out of Cali. What I can tell you is this. Once again, I may not be in Cincinnati in a minute. What I can tell you is this. We definitely used to call Jimmie Hot Boy Jimmie, right? But I understand when gangster and other people speak on it and they be like, um, they never heard of it. Because within us, we always call Jimmie Hot Boy Jimmie. We call Jimmie Hot Boy Jimmie because Jimmie was just hot with the women, right? I don't even think Gig and them even ever encountered like Jimmie and them. So, but Jimmie was only called Hot Boy Jimmie. Don't get this twisted. It wasn't no Hot Boys. Jimmie was called Hot Boy Jimmie, right? And everybody didn't call him that. So I understand both discrepancies as in P understanding that that was his people, and he really was Hot Boy Jimmie, and Giggity understanding that they created the Hot Boy name. Because if you talk about the brand, that's all gangster now. But I can definitely tell you that Jimmie was called Hot Boy Jimmie. But I understand the discrepancies because everybody didn't call Jimmie Hot Boy Jimmie. But I know Doe used to always call him Hot Boy. But it was called to him on something because he used to have so many women. Like Jimmie was a beast. And he was with it. But the I think Gangsta them more or less established it for being Gangsta them wasn't hot boys for just being loved by the women. Gangsta them was hot boys because every time they was around, something was gonna go down. So it was a different thing on it. But rest in peace, Hot Boy Jimmie, rest in peace, Bruce. But that's like I understand the discrepancy on it. But Jimmie definitely was called Hot Boy Jimmie before like the Hot Boys. But he wasn't. It wasn't a Hot Boy crew. He just was called Hot Boy Jimmie. I know somebody who could. Me and X could tell you. Me and X know it. Like me and X could tell you, but she don't really get into all that, and I understand it, but because it's not a super big thing to where of speaking on things that ain't got a lot to do with it. But Jimmie was definitely called Hot Boy Jimmie. But when you come to that hot boy shit, I can attest to like because the biggest discrepancy is this, right? Did Master P get hot boys from Gangster? He did because Jimmie wasn't the hot boys. Like by the time Master P did that movie and all that kind of stuff, like the hot boys was on fire. So that's why I understand what gangster means. Like, I don't think he discrediting Jimmie as being called that because he's probably never heard him be called that. But what I do understand is when you say hot boys, you talking about gangster, Sterling, uh, Stone, Dooney, Mosquito, Skiboo, uh, like that was the hot boys. So I understand like the discrepancy of things. OG.